First item on the work session agenda is planning commission report.
Good evening. The planning commission canceled their July 1st meeting due to lack of business. But coming up this month, some of the things we've got 3 rezonings that are coming before them to be looked at, so we'll all be looking at those potentially next month. Another big thing is, with the approval of land swap, we were trying to work on finalizing the work we've already done with the zoning map and those updates. We've already essentially preliminary done that with regional planning, so we're going to be working with them to get that updated and take a revised map to planning commission this month, and then y'all should be seeing it next month also. So those are the main things. We've also got had a couple conversations with some potential commercial developers, looking at putting some projects in the city limits also. So, but a lot of good things, rezonings being the main one. There's some potential, other rezonings and annexations and stuff on the board too, that, so. But,
Other annexations?
yes. But right now, the main things we got is, these 3 zonings and the zoning maps, main things we're, going to be working on this coming month with the planning commission.
Are they other annexations? Do we have residents
No.
on them?
Yeah, I mean, it's owned land, but it's a voluntary annexation stuff that,
Okay.
people are discussing the feasibility of.
Yeah, that, I just want to make sure we're.
Yeah.
We did it.
Yeah, we reviewed, the current zoning, or what was the current zoning for, the land that we brought in, and tried to, map that, as appropriate as to what they were zoned, what we have along with our, it's basically, categorized on use and lot square, or lot acreage, is what the argument is. But, Rogers has already got their zoning map updated, and doesn't show any of that property anymore, so. And then Benton County GIS already has their map updated and shows all of that land in Cave Springs through Limits County, so. So that's all I have, and we'll still have any specific questions.
Thank you. And some of what's coming up next with the policies, Justin wanted to be here to go through. So we're going to skip the next 4 or 5 items. Do you, Kim, did you bring anything for the EFT?
No, I gave that to Justin.
Okay, well, he hasn't gotten that to me yet. I knew you had said you wanted it on the agenda for tonight, so I put it there hoping that we would have it, but I don't have it yet. Unless he brings it tonight when he comes. That's the electronic fund transfers for,
I want to be able to start paying some of our bills online versus having to go through the post office, because the post office is not getting the bills sent out. They're getting lost, they're getting misplaced. And if I can pay them electronically, then I don't have to worry about chasing down an envelope.
there are a few things that we're going to be getting out to y'all hopefully later this week that aren't ready yet, but I want you to have a week and a couple of weekends to look it over before the council meeting. So the midterm budget I am still working on. I do expect to have it done in the next couple of days, and I expect to have it out either Thursday or Friday to y'all.
Will that have the new police officers?
That will have the new police officers and the new fire, the fire chief's recommendations for the fire department expansion, everything will be in there. The water meter project, if you look at the very back of your packet, and doing the, core and main stuff that we had them doing with doing our meter reading and testing our meters as they do so, and putting in the MXUs, the antenna systems with the, to where we can do the radio read on the ones that are upgradable. They've been evaluating the system, and there are 222 meters that they have found that need replaced due to age and use. And this means that they may not be picking up the correct volume. And they found 18 that aren't even picking up the volume. So we have a significant number there that needs replaced, and there's still others as well. So we have an opportunity right now to purchase 504 meters, which will be used. And this is a request to purchase the meters, and they will install the meters, the MXUs and everything according to the contract they're already under. And these will go in as radio reads, and it will help improve our efficiency at the same time as it upgrades our system, and it could even help with the water loss reduction. So,
We're not getting another bid to see another company to do it.
we can get another bid if you would like. This is kind of an expansion of the contract we're already under. So, and it's the brand of meters and model of meters that we've been purchasing for years.
From this company.
They've been coming from this company because that's where we got the rate, and they're the dealer for that and brand.
Are these the ones that we approved them to go around and do the meter reads for us anyway?
Right.
So it would make sense if they're going around doing meter reads.
They were in Ridgewood yesterday.
What, I'm sorry?
They were in Ridgewood yesterday,
Yes.
and I drove by to check those storm drains.
Were they, so they're having stuff done? Well, I mean, if we're already under a contract with them and they're here,
Right.
and they're gonna do the reads anyway, if they find a bad meter, will they replace it like then?
They're replacing them as
they find
they,
them.
when they have them, they will replace them as they buy them, yes.
I guess it makes sense
How
to
long
me.
would it take them to get them?
They said, I think it was 4 to 6 weeks. So it's not, I mean, it's not tomorrow, but it's not like it was where it was 6 months for a while. They're getting much better. So, any other questions?
That
And
would help with the water loss also.
it could help with the water loss also, yes. And I saw Justin come in. See in the back. Hey Justin, you want one of these? You can take Daniel one too if you want. And we're ready for the, I guess, petty cash policy next, if you wanna kinda go over the policy. Sure.
So this is a policy we put in place a couple of years ago. Kim provided me some changes which are incorporated here. Also have some changes that are were provided regarding water and sewer that are incorporated as well. So, you know, what's here reflects those changes. In large part, there were the changes that just reflect that you have different funds between general and water and sewer. So that's a large part of it. And, I don't know if there's anything, that's remarkably different. I think, one thing that has changed is the amount of, money that will be kept in the various funds. Mayor, is this updated with the change that we talked about?
It is not been, this is the one you sent me last,
Okay,
but I don't think it was changed. Yeah, no, it hasn't been.
okay. The mayor and I discussed an additional change. I'm flipping to it right now. Let's see here. If you look at section 5, it changes the, under the section called reimbursement process. The petty cash fund, raises it from, 500 to 600 for the, city petty cash fund. And then it says no less than, it changed from 250 to 300 for, the water cash fund. And, I think what is being requested is that we have, Mayor, can you tell me those breakdowns again? It's
Yeah,
300.
it, currently, the water and sewer is carrying 500, but most of it, almost all of it is water. And that's where you routinely make changes on water bills. That's where it routinely gets used and where the majority gets used. And after discussing it a little more with the department, we are, instead of splitting it 300 for water and 300 for sewer, they don't have that much demand out of sewer, so they're requesting to keep the 500 in water and do 100 for sewer, just for those oddball situations where they would possibly need it.
So 100, so you adding 100 for sewer?
And I'm
Yeah.
sorry, I was telling you the wrong area. We should be looking at section 1 and section 2. Section 1, it would increase the city petty cash fund from $1,000 to $1,200. With 1,000 for the treasurer, 1,000 for the city, 100 for building permit, and 100 for court. And then number 2, it's got, where it's set up a $300 fund each for water and sewer. I think what the mayor was saying would work better because the water uses it more than sewer, is to have 500 in water and 100 in sewer.
It used to say water and sewer is still as one department, but as y'all know, it's two separate funds, two separate accounts. And so for purpose of budgeting properly, it needs to be two separate funds out of two separate accounts. And that's why, but primarily it's used by water, so that's why we were asking that it go back to 500 for water and just do 100 for sewer. Because you really can't take from that account for sewer in the
So-
event you needed to.
Aside from that, that would be the only change from what you have before you.
So this is cash on hand?
Yeah, it's petty cash.
Where is it kept?
It's kept in a lockbox in the office with the clerk, and in the front office, it stays in a lockbox behind, the court clerk's desk, and they have, the ability to use from there. It's kept away from the public,
So the treasurer has one also?
and yeah, she has, that's the $1,000 that she would be doing. And she replenishes from it as well. If they turn in receipts and show that they're running low, she can replenish from there as well.
On the audit, is that the annual audit that we go through?
It's
Outside
actually
audit?
about every 2 years, yes.
Yes,
Every
it's
2
an annual
years.
audit, yes,
Why are we just doing it every 2 years?
because they're playing catch up with COVID.
But it was 2 years before. We're doing 3 years this year, but
It's
it
done
was.
annually, so.
Well, I
there's-
understand we're doing 3 years of audit, but during the year, are we not doing a self-audit to check
Yes,
this?
we do. We
Yeah.
do a quarterly audit. I do a quarterly, I check it quarterly, and then I make the court clerk sign off, I make the building clerk sign off, make sure that we have the $100 in each account. And then I also have the, my assistant sign off on the $1,000, so there's a second set of eyes and sewer, I don't know.
It'll be audited as well. Anything else on petty cash? Next items, the credit card and social media are both within the handbook. So,
So there are a number of, you have before you, I think you all have copies of the handbook. Okay. It, so there are some changes throughout. I'm not gonna go through, all the changes. I can tell you that I think many of them are just, you have some defined terms as definitions that start on page 7. And we were a little bit inconsistent in kind of referring back to those defined terms, so it's just kind of cleaning that up. In other words, where it says department head or city council or something like that, just cleaning it up, nothing substantial there. So I'm just gonna, so that's kind of throughout, and a few clarity changes. You always find a typo in these things as well. As far as the bigger items that have been changed, I'm just gonna draw your attention to these in 3.10, which is travel and reimbursement. There are a few changes in there. In general, one of the things that is kind of happening in the city, it's fair to say, is that over the last couple of years, and you're continuing to do this, is you're transitioning to having more department heads. All that long ago, where you had you had a police chief who was full-time, and you had somebody who was department head of a water sewer. Of course, now you have planning, you have a full-time fire chief, and you can envision in the future as you grow more department heads, and so it's kind of building in some responsibility for certain pieces, expenditures, purchases, employee interactions, things like that, that would generally be done by supervisor or department head. So it's adding some changes in there. As an example, making sure that professional development seminars, programs that are attended to by employees are approved by department head. So that is in 3.10. In 3.11, on the next page, on page 21, is the credit card or charge account policy. In the past, or what is current, is that the city has one credit card, and again, the changes prepared here would provide for department heads to have credit cards to do purchases, and of course have to manage that, make sure that there are purchases within that are approved within the budget, and make sure that if an employee in the department is using the card for a particular purpose, that there are receipts, etc. But it's to allow for the city to have more than one credit card.
We already have only one credit card.
Okay, then it would be to have the policy reflect that. So the policy would reflect that department heads would be able to have that. Going forward, there were several changes to, starting at 4.5 on page 25.
Can I ask a question about 3.10?
Yes, sir.
On the very first line, the city of Cave Springs will reimburse and took out designated employees.
Yeah, are you talking about on the travel?
Yes,
Yeah, I took out designated, I didn't know what that meant.
I'm wondering too.
It's kind of an odd word. I sat there, that was one of the last changes I made, actually. Because I was reading that going, what's a designated employee? And down below it requires authorization. And maybe, it could be authorized employee, but designated employee, I didn't understand what that meant, so that's why I took it out. Because it has to be authorized.
Right.
The travel or if you attend a conference or whatever it is, it's got to be authorized. So I didn't understand what designated meant.
Thank you.
Yeah. salary basis level for, under the FLSA for an employee to be exempt from overtime. So the exempt employee has changed. There's been new rulemaking that has changed that pretty substantially. So we had the prior amount, referred to in there of $684, a month, I mean, a pay period every 2 weeks would be the salary basis. That's the minimum amount that somebody would have to, earn in order to, qualify as an exempt employee, as well as the other factors, management factors. That has been changed. So instead of like having to change that every time it changes, just have it pointed to, the threshold established by the Department of Labor. Let's see here, there's just a few changes kind of, throughout to make sure that if a person has a problem, with their time or an issue, that they speak to, their supervisor, about that. Put added in department head in a few places. Under 4.7, emergency situations, we had a policy that was added for COVID. That's really not relevant anymore. So you can see that on the side. That's all dealing with the kind of the unique circumstances of the pandemic. And so that's being proposed to be removed.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
The human resource officer is referred to like under 4.3 under the payroll. Is Kim our human resources officer?
I think she's serving that role. It's not defined in the.
Okay, well, that's why I was, because we always, clerk, treasurer and clerk
Mhm.
falls under human, to me, falls under human resources, so I was just wanting clarification.
Yeah,
I have a question back on the salary basis,
yes.
where it says, where it talked about the, government minimum threshold is required by the United States Department of Labor.
Yes,
Does that change often?
yeah, it's just recently changed. And so, it's gone up, in kind of slight increments. It's recently done a larger increment that this one took effect, and I believe it's 883 is now what it is, or 883 or 884.
An hour?
No, a pay period.
A pay period.
Yeah, it turns out that $43,000 is the
Okay.
minimum now. So since it changes, it makes sense, I think, just to refer to the standard rather than put a dollar amount in there.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on. Added section there on vacancies and promotions, under 4.9. Okay, moving forward, we have some, if we go to chapter 5, under the fire department, 5.1.2, the chief requested a change under the top of page 33 in chapter 5, that non-exempt, meaning hourly firefighters who work shifts of 24 hours or more may accrue and carry over to the next calendar year a maximum of 120 hours of vacation pay. And so that is an added provision that was requested by the chief that we built into there. There is an item that we're still working on that I'll mention. For vacation and for holiday pay, the standard work week, standard day is considered to be 8 hours, but we have fire working different shifts. They can have, in our policy, they can have a 12-hour shift or a 24-hour shift. There's been a question about needing to maybe redefine what the day is, the work day is for holidays and for vacation purposes. The problem is you have to be working a 24-hour shift and you pay 12 holidays. There's a pretty big difference between an 8-hour day and a 24-hour day. If you're paying 12 of those, right? That's a threefold change. And So, gone back and forth with the chief a little bit. I looked at, Springdale and Rogers as examples, and they have their work days for, vacation, and holiday said it's 8. The chief provided me the Bill's policy, which, sets it at 11. And I think that still needs to be looked at a little bit to evaluate. I mean, there will be a budget impact on that. So, but I think the idea is to recognize, that shift being different, the 24-hour shift. So still working on that one. They come back with a proposal for you all to kick around, but there'll be a budget impact on that. So you have to kind of consider and see what that would, entail, but we'll try to we'll bring forward a recommendation, and you all can decide that. And that would be in probably a section there under 5.2 under holidays and holiday pay, and also under vacation in 5.1.
Hey Justin, on the carryover on vacation time, I'm gonna get with the police chief, he just brought up something on how much they carry over.
Yeah.
It's a little bit more than ours, and so we're looking at to mirror each other's,
Okay.
so I'll get you something in the next day or two on that.
So we might have a change there as well? Okay.
Correct.
Okay. Okay. Moving forward, I think the next one is a little farther down. Going into chapter 6, we have a policy on, 6.1.2 on social media and websites that, are taking a crack at, making some revisions to. An issue that has been coming up in the courts, has been, public forums and, websites and social media sites that are, either, run by governments or, elected official sites. So people who are authorized to speak on behalf of the government. There is a recent case where a city manager in a city had a personal, Facebook page, but put a lot of, public comment on it, or public, like would repost things from the city, would push out some city information on his private, account. And then, as always happens, there was somebody who posted something that he didn't like and persisted at it, and he started deleting, the comments that he didn't like. And so the question for the court was whether that Facebook page was a public forum. And the court brought down a test, on that. Eventually, in that case, found that it was, and because you had sort of a mixed public and private speech that was occurring on there. But it's getting awfully close to getting at the issue, which I think a lot of, government entities have been dealing with, is what do we do with comments on, social media pages that are controlled by, or that are run by government entities, schools, cities, counties, those type of things. You get to a pretty thorny issue when you have, say, what you might think is inappropriate or harassing comments or annoying comments or repeated comments. Can you delete those? Are you making speech decisions based upon that? The municipal league, in following up with that case, sent out some guidance. The case is Linkey versus Free, the recent case from the United States Supreme Court. But they sent out some guidance on that reviewed and have actually attended some sessions on where there's discussion. And part of that guidance is some policy changes to make sure that it's clear who has the authority to speak on behalf of the government entity and who does not. If that's done so in the employment manual, in this policy. But the other one dealt with comments, and the suggestion is that the policy state that comments will be turned off on social media sites where you could comment. where people can comment freely. And replace that with something that says, contact City Hall if you've got a question or you need information. Use the site to push out information, but not as a public forum. There are some cities throughout Arkansas who have done that, and others who are talking about it and thinking about it. But, you know, the court cases are getting close to that question, about whether, how a city can regulate, comments on its Facebook page. And, you know, if you have somebody who, is maybe being inappropriate in comments, you know, can you even delete that comment? And where that's becoming problematic is that they've looked at cases, now been several cases in the courts where public officials who have used their page to push out public information, have been found to violate the First Amendment by deleting comments or banning, you know, people, kicking people, blocking them from seeing the page. And, so the recommendation is just to turn them off, and use that to push out information. But if people have questions or need information, to have them either, you know, point them either to email or to phone. So that's in there. There's some changes,
I have one question.
Yes.
Mayor, who's your designee then? Who are you gonna designate to do your Facebook?
Right now, I don't have a designee, and that's something that we would be, there's going to be. I mean, police department has their own, fire department has their own, and I'm not gonna be the one running it. I will be reviewing things, but I'm not going to be doing all the posts. So there will be designees, and
Okay, like, by the next meeting, is it fair that you come back with
I can come back with
The designees.
designees by the next meeting, yes.
I think it'd be fair too to, really look at your department heads for that. They're the ones that are gonna have, if there's a water break, you're gonna have your, you know, you want your, maybe water sewer to push that information out there, or if
we have
there's.
a contractor, the mayor needs to, mayor contractor isn't full-time. Our public works.
Right.
Public Works, but we do have a clerk that is called into action when we do have after-hours calls and things like that she could post that we have a boil order. A lot of times I can, in after-hours
Well,
scenarios
Like
during.
oil orders and stuff, I wonder about, because people are asking about specific streets and specific areas in specific sides of town. I wonder about public comments being turned off on that, because you might see the
If you-
benefit to something like that. For example, Mark's Water was on in St. Valerie Downs. I was like, I wonder if that's because he's connected me to Bentonville over there, and or, you know, ours, and Brentwood was not on. So it was nice to see the difference, and as a resident, see the breakdown too.
We do have the alert system, so they can actually sign up, and we can do a map with the people that are signed up that wanna know by area.
Would that be
And
immediate?
when I text someone, if I choose, zone 4, because that's where the leak is, only zone 4 would get the boil order notice, and all of zone 4 would get the boil order notice.
Okay, I just think public comments on that maybe might be,
You can't turn them on for certain things or
and
certain.
turn them off for others. Okay, I mean, that's fair. I just wanted to ask.
That was part of the, problem with, if you provide that, platform, you've gotta provide it for all.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, universal, that makes sense. I was just,
Yeah,
so it's beneficial for people to sign up.
for the
And it would
Alexis.
be great to maybe do like a monthly post to remind people
Right,
of that. I think on Facebook would be great too.
I'll just throw in real quick, you know, under best practices, you know, I've said this for months now, I really think that in 2024, it just does not make sense to have a small city running it, like trying to have an employee at the city hall, tinker with the website, and, you know, trying to find out which, employee coming through a revolving door is gonna be, you know, designated to do this important job. You know, with most private companies, many cities at this point, have a third party to do this. And if we're really talking about best practices, best practice is to actually outsource this and make it to where all the mayor has to do is text a third party that, you know, is contractually obligated to make sure that that post gets up in 30 minutes, that it's spell checked, and that it's, you know, and I think it just kind of takes the existing, you know, issues out of it, but also some of these things that we talk about, you know, the more cooks you have in the kitchen, the more people you have logging into something, just cybersecurity goes down. That's just a fact. And so, having a single poster, having a company that actually does our website edits, instead of trying to make, you know, David's assistant do it, and you know, and stuff like this. You know, we've talked about the tech stuff. I'm in the middle of studying for the bar, so I apologize. And it's not something I have the bandwidth to do right now. But you know, the internet, we have CenturyLink over here. I just learned that we pay for it. You know, we're paying for the worst internet. We've got this little HP laptop that's not designed for live video like this, and you know, it's just all stuff that. We live in 2024. You can hire a fractional CTO that would work for the city 10 hours a week or something like that. They're a professional IT person, and I can get the sound engineer from the AMP, who I happen to know through a friend, to call the mayor. But what really needs to happen is somebody needs to go out and talk to several of these IT companies that specialize in this all the time and say, hey, you know, we're having problems broadcasting our meetings out of the American Legion. You know, this is something that's worth paying a little bit of money to fix. And I don't know, I've seen that as a consistent problem with the city, is that too much bottlenecks at Randy, and in certain circumstances we put too much on Kim too. So it's like everything's bottlenecking at a couple of city officials because they've been asked to do everything. And so I think it would be better to take some of these little things, pay a couple $100 a month, you know, pay $1,000 a month to just outsource this, and then not have to worry about it anymore, and not have to meet about it over and over and talk about it, you know, every couple of months. I mean, I've been saying it. I'm just gonna say it again for the record. Keep saying it.
Well, it's great, but are we gonna be having a meeting? Well, that's an update, but another thing is, if we're having meetings over in the community building, to get that squared away, hopefully. We're meeting over there in August, and this is the last time we need to.
Well, and yeah, it goes down. Whenever we get internet over there, you know, guys, let's spring for the Cox. You know, I mean, it's I know we got to fight over these. You know, whether we got $500 or $600 in these accounts, and you know, these big amounts. We're not fighting over pennies for sure, but you know, it's just, I don't know. I just can't believe it's something that I'm having to push so hard, but.
I think it's a great idea.
There's also, in that realm, we'll be talking to someone next month about a much more robust and flexible type, website. So they will be here next month to talk to you. Work session.
6.1.3, handling of FOI request. Policy, really did follow in practice, so, I think I have every FOI request going to Kim, and then first seen out. I think, they come in and, can be routed to department heads, so if something in police, it would go to chief. If it's something that, is in, planning, you know, go to David. Again, maybe cut one of those bottleneck things, but, I'm not sure she would object, but, that's the way I've seen more FOI requests handled. And, a number of them are routine and may not need to rise to the level of being, notified upwards, but some of them are, ruled out of the ordinary, and so, you know, the mayor may be made aware of it, but I think routinely, you know, around by employees to the correct department, instead of through, you know, another public official. That maybe remove some dated language about, making records. This is in 6.11.1 on telephones, about, maintaining a log of personal calls. Seems to be from a different time when you had long distance and things like that, or you had cell phone bills that were charged by the, by the minute or by the call. There's already a policy on personal use, on, city electronic equipment, email, phone use, that sort of thing, personal call, personal use. I think that's the lion's share of it, so, I think from here, obviously, I think there'll be a few changes on fire, maybe with police as well, that'll be made. But I wanted to get this before you, so you could review it and look it over and let me know if there's any questions or if you see any problems. Happy to say this isn't perfect, so, want some eyes on it, and if you got any questions about it, I'd be happy to talk.
Any other questions?
Not yet.
All right.
Yeah, I do. I don't have a question, I just wanna agree with what JJ said regarding that. I really think it is a good idea to take that away from you, Mr. Mayor, or Kim, or Sonia right now, because it's just creating a lot of bottleneck and, time consuming, and as city is growing, we need to have some of these jobs dedicated to somebody here and follow up maybe, or approved by somebody, but have a process in place, but I agree 100% with what they just.
I don't plan on continuing to be the one to post. That's not gonna be my job. I do have a statutory requirement I'm responsible for what is posted. And so when there's things that are not the normal, we're posting our agenda for this month, or the things that are not the normal. If there's questions, it needs to come through me for approval, but it's not gonna be my job to do posting.
I'm just saying, put a process in place.
Right, that's what
And
we're
maybe
doing.
get out of City Hall, just out of City Hall, because, I mean, it's not that you're not social media savvy or anything, or that there's nobody in the office that is, but, I don't run my own social media accounts, and I don't know why we would spend our time, why we would spend the city's time.
And
doing that, just
I've
outsource that and pay somebody.
I've heard your concern there, and we have done some research, and we haven't found someone yet, but we have looked. And we will continue to look, and we will find someone.
I got you, but it's, I'm gonna match your tone back there, Randy, and just say, again, coming from the private business world, we have to solve problems like quickly, because we don't have taxpayers' dollars just burning.
And I
so,
understand. Anything else? Okay, the mayor's update, the SOPs.
We haven't talked about the EFT resolution.
She said that
She doesn't need to talk about it.
do you have anything on EFT?
No,
Okay, she had said she sent it to him, and we're not
Okay.
prepared for it yet. The SOPs, the water and sewer side is working on theirs. They're on page 29. They've still got a lot of fleshing out and work to do on it, but they are making progress.
I have a question about that. Then, since we're in the process, department head, possibly before that is official, I think a department head that is experienced, I don't think it should just fall on clerk.
The clerk is putting it together. It won't be approved by the clerk.
Understood, but someone that has more education as a department head, I believe would be beneficial to look that over for presenting it.
And
Is
that's fine. But those don't
Not saying
actually
that she's
come for
not.
approval.
Okay. But
Those
if
are
it's gonna go-
something, because they change as situations change. When you get an assistant, you're.
Well, we just haven't had them, so I would like to see them,
And I don't mind presenting them and letting you see them, and I don't.
because maybe we could figure out where breakdowns are, but if we're getting a department head, I really feel that they have the experience in that field across different environments. And I think we did add one to see all the SOPs, we had this discussion before, so,
Right.
not that we have to approve them, but also different eyes to look them over as well.
And that's fine.
what's the process by which, I mean, like, are they just sitting down and trying to write out what they do and what they, you know what I mean? Or are they
That's
using
part of
templates, or?
that's part of the process, is they're writing out what they do. There's certain things that, it's what they do, the order things should be done in, the things that you should assure are being updated. and
Yeah, but my
being-
question is, how are they putting those lists together? Like, are there templates that they're using? I mean, because presumably many cities have SOPs, and even though things will vary by region and city,
Right.
there are also things that are like consistent, you know, like from like sewer practices, you know, to a certain extent. Like, are we using any templates like that?
That I'm not sure on water and sewer. I
Yeah.
know that the, building department and the, office manager with the, you know, she's clerk and she's office manager, both of them have old ones. They're reviewing the old ones, and they are going through and seeing what's changed. And so they've got the old style and design to look at as a template, but at the same time, they're updating them so that they're not, I mean, if sometimes job duties change and,
Modernized.
yeah, they're modernizing them. But they both have had theirs for years, and so it needs updating, and they're working on theirs. And, so
I think what Erica is saying, which I agree, I think the department head needs to be working on that. They need to be looked at, it shouldn't be just somebody sit down and put their job description, they can put what they do over there, but the department head needs to be responsible, looking at it, putting it together, and then can have somebody trying to do the contract.
I don't disagree with that, and when we get a department head in water and sewer that's full-time department head, it will be forwarded to him as another one of his things to look at. But right now, we don't have that.
Welcome to the job. Tell us what we need to be doing. Like, I mean,
And I'm gonna be looking through all of them, and I'll be reviewing all of them and making suggestions if I see things that are not efficient and things like that, but it's, as far as when you were talking about the expertise and knowledge of the job, I will be the first to tell you, I don't have expert knowledge in every department and every person's job.
Nor should you.
Nor
because-
should I, correct.
Because that's their job. Your job is to be a mayor and oversee.
And
So-
that's, I do understand some things, having done service work about efficiencies and things, that I can look at that department and be of some assistance, but I'm not going to be the ultimate final. The department head will have a lot to do with that when he gets it.
Well, the main thing is things of, with water and sewer specifically, it's not, I'm not placing blame on anybody or anything. It's just that we've seen a lot of emails, we've seen a lot of things. There's just two people trying, and we're some staff changes, and things have been dropped in different areas due to changes and things of that nature. So, and they have their own clerk jobs and their own water jobs, and to take that on, maybe getting, I don't know, a city of a comparable size, asking for their SOP for comparison.
And that, we can do that as well, but one thing I do want, I think there's a misunderstanding here too. And I'm not minimizing the situations where we need to go in and do a better job. I'm not minimizing the fact that there has been the ball dropped occasionally, but I don't think y'all realize the number of things they do right every week. And
They're great,
there's
but they're just
probably
clerks in
30
the office.
thank yous that come in for every one of these where someone has a complaint. And there's probably 30 successes for every complaint. That's not necessarily good enough. We want to minimize the number of complaints. But that department does a lot more work than what you see in complaints. Successful.
I'm not blaming the department or anybody at City Hall. And if you remember, I spoke very highly of employees, and they don't have anything to follow. You said there were SOPs, and there's not. We're just trying to give feedback of, a clerk is doing a clerk job for water and sewer. So the department head, I just feel that, sure, they can do a template, but I really feel that that full responsibility shouldn't be placed on clerks in the office just doing the excellent job they're doing, to put more on them when that isn't per se their expertise, because they haven't had the full education of running maybe a full city
To make
as a
sure.
department head.
I'm sorry.
No, please, I don't know if I'm getting right.
To make sure I wasn't saying that the discussion was not about anybody not doing their job or not doing a good job. In fact, I think they're doing the best they can with what they got, but we're discussing SOP, we have nothing to do with job performance. We just wanna make sure we have a guideline in place that they can follow. And what's the best way to get to that guideline? Like I said, do we need Daniel to help, for example, with water and sewer to help us with that? I think at this time, probably yes, until we get a department head for that. So that's where I'm going with that.
Right, that's exactly what I'm trying to say. I'm on the same wavelength, it's just not coming out.
Well, and SOPs can be updated and changed. I mean, it just, and this is kind of my confusion is, I mean, Erica, when did you first bring this up? It's just, if I, yeah.
Before the scissor tail swap,
Yeah, I mean, my thing is just if given guidance, you know, if I tell my member manager, hey, we need a new set of SOPs, that's something that should be done in an afternoon, because I just Googled, I found hundreds of PDFs of water and sewer, SOPs from different cities. And obviously certain things need to be tailored, but that's kind of what it is. It's just like taking a form of any legal filing and then tweaking it to whatever you're dealing with the city. It's something that should be done in a couple of hours. And that's, you know, whenever you know, okay, it's taking this much time and there's not a lot of guidance being given folks, and it just seems like everything takes so much time. And then, you know, I'm glad that we're getting compliments and stuff. I mean, I never have residents call me to be like, hey, I just want you guys to know you're doing an awesome job for water and sewer. I've never had that happen. Please send them my way. But, you know, we all live in the city. We all talk to the citizens too, Randy. And so we know that this is a pain point for the citizens. And you can say, I'm not trying to minimize it, but when you say, I'm not trying to minimize it, but yes, there have been a few balls that are being dropped, that language is minimizing. And you know, something like this is the smallest thing in the world. This should have been done in a week. And I don't know, I can't fathom how long we take to do certain things. And yeah, that's all I'll say about it.
I agree. I think we need to, it's a live document, it's gonna change as we go, things changes. So, honestly, we were not talking about schools doing a good job or not, or citizens are happy. We're just trying to get it so good, that's it.
for the record, I think everybody said y'all does a great job. Just in case anybody's walking away thinking I'm gonna say.
Yeah, and I don't think most of the citizens are sitting around thinking, man, the hourly employees that work for water and sewer, man, I'm mad at them. I think that they're mad at the city administration. I think they're frustrated that, you know, I don't think that they're mad at, like, you know, Jim in the truck or whatever. I think they're mad at us. So, I mean, that's fine.
Anything else?
One more thing, when the whole swap was going on, our clerks in water and sewer, what is our city hall? Are we doing electronic records? Do we have electronic records? Are we still paper? Cause if we don't have electronic records taking on a whole bunch of people, I got some feedback that, someone was wanting something for their land, and a contractor's like, oh, it's okay, they don't do electronic records, and they do a great job, it's just that they saw a benefit to electronic records, and I just wanted an update, like, are we doing electronic records, like for water and sewer, or are we like paperwork, cause I know, do you understand what I'm asking?
Somewhat. We do have paper applications. We have started putting those applications into a fillable PDF, so someone can actually fill it out and send it in by email. And then when they get there, all they have to do is write the check for the deposit. We've got everything right there, very legible.
Okay, so like, for example, when I get my sprinkler system tested and the certified guy has to send something to the city hall, is that going in as paper, or is there an easier way to have a fillable PDF so that our clerks aren't dealing with all this? Are they dealing with paper?
They're dealing with paper and they're dealing with specialty software. And there are things that our inspectors, still inspect on paper. I came with a request for software about a year and a half ago, maybe 2 years ago now, that the inspector brought up that they could do their inspections and send it in, and we could enter the information so that they would be able to schedule without coming in and doing all the paper. And that was voted no on.
Hey guys, I don't wanna interrupt everybody, I just wanna say, I'm about to leave in a second, I don't want everybody to think that's weird. I have, my wife's out of town, and I only have a babysitter till about 7:30 tonight, so I've gotta.
I mean, we can talk about, will you just, like,
There's
just,
ways we could improve, there's some ways that state statutes hold us back, but there are ways we could improve, and I don't mind looking at those.
with
and
increasing
bringing
by
those.
1,000 plus residents, and I just think it would be better to have teams do it professionally, able to make it electronic. I think it'd be easier on our clerks, and just easier, smoother all around, especially taking on so much.
A
And
lot
since
of
so
the-
much does stop, like JJ said, bottlenecking, if we could just take some, make it easier for people sitting on, taking on more residents and everything else.
A lot of the stuff is done electronically, that's one of the things we're trying to do with the radio read. They can come directly in electronically, and there was a time we had to do everything on paper with meter reads. We're continuing to look for ways of making it better, but a lot of the complaints we were getting at City Hall was that we can't fill it out online, and that's why we went to the fillable PDFs. And we're still populating some of those and converting some of those
I think those should, I mean,
for every department.
I think the department should be working on those and get those, it's gonna create less paperwork for everybody, just get those all done and knocked out. I don't know, okay, is that reasonable by like August 1st? Anything that can be PDF, get that done, make it easier. on
A
people
lot of
sitting
it's
home.
on the website now, and under those departments, there's lists of documents for,
And do they all work?
and they do work.
Okay. So I just, look it over, have department heads look it over, have, water and sewer clerks look it over, make sure that it all works to create less on them, especially with their transition and the swap.
Yeah.
For the future. Anyway, that was just the feedback I got. Nothing negative against anybody, but something that a contractor had to go to City Hall with. They mentioned that, oh, that is in paper, I need to call and ask, and then they get it back to me. It wasn't an immediate. I don't remember what it was. I honestly don't.
Anything else?
No, I think as we get, the city is growing, as you know, so the speed of getting stuff done and getting updated to more modern way of doing business, I think is gonna be really important. Honestly, it's just not pointing finger at anybody, just saying, hey, just see what we can do to speed things up.
All right. Next item's a stoplight, and I know, Daniel gave me an update today, if you would like to get that update.
We're supposed to have our drawings completed and turned into us last week. As of Monday, they were not finished yet. I was assured I would have them no later than Thursday, either Wednesday or no later than Thursday. So as soon as we get those, we'll submit them to RDOT.
I thought we were already waiting on more.
No, sir, we had not, so we were supposed to have those drawings last week, as I report 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, last month, it was said we were waiting on RDOT, so that's what I've been telling people, we're waiting on RDOT.
No, we had submitted to RDOT a record what we wanted to design, and they have approved that. So now we're submitting the design, rather than submit a design and get comments back, we made sure they were okay with the direction we wanted to go before submitting to them the direction we wanted to go, since this was different.
So what, can you give us a little bit of idea of what direction we're going, or is it a big change or something?
No, it's not a big change. The actual design will be, I should have that in hand, no later than Thursday. And then we can turn the design in for the review, for our doctor.
How long do you think the review would take?
I would say, I'd give them a month.
I mean, when you say design, I'm a little bit confused. Can you explain what you mean by design of a stoplight? Meaning you're designing the. Can you
Designing.
Elaborate on that.
Yes, designing the placement of the poles, types of poles, types of cables, types of signals, actual box, the brains, if you will, of the signal, how it's going to operate, those type items. That's all included in the design. It's on a plan sheets of paper like we do our water and sewer. That's bid documents is what we'll end up being.
So it's not gonna change the stoplight, that's gonna be a four-way stoplight, right?
That's correct. That is the intent, but I'm gonna verify that for the chief. He'd asked that as well. That's gonna be a verification we have prior to submitting the order.
Yeah, because my understanding was that we're doing this stoplight to have four-way stoplights.
Yes.
So they can get in and out, make it easy on them.
The difference on this is, if you remember, the reason we asked RDOT to begin with, sent a letter in and request, because this is a temporary signal. It's not a signal that would normally come with improvements to the intersection, such as lighting, the stop lane, sidewalks, all those extra items that would go along with it. That's right. And so we're trying to keep everything in with the current easements that we have, in addition to coordinate with RDOT on improvements and right of way that they're obtaining along 264.
Thank you.
Sorry for the confusion.
That's all right, thank you.
Next item is the community building, and if y'all have not had a chance to get by there, they're making improvements on a routine, it's making huge improvements.
I had someone question me yesterday why they haven't been working on it last week or so.
They actually were working on it, they were painting it over the weekend. They've been working on it, the last couple of days. They're waiting on some siding that goes on the inside to go ahead and complete the inside siding, but there was a truck there working when I left a while ago.
This was last week.
I think a lot of people said 5 days last week. I mean,
Well,
you had 2 days of holiday and, 2 or 3 days.
Monday and Tuesday, I know they were there last week, and
I'm just telling you what I was asked. And
and Thursday and Friday, they may have taken both days, but I know for a fact they were there Monday and Tuesday. In fact, I got a phone call from one on Monday about, something they needed information on, so they were over there at the time, and I went over and looked at it. So, the, next item is Wager Road signs. There's been I think we talked about it for a few minutes the other night. There's been, accidents on Wager Road, and there's, GPS show status, the primary way to the, airport from the south, and a lot of times that means people are going through there at higher rates of speed than the speed limit, and it is crooked. We have ordered the, signs to show the curves as a caution sign. We have also got, I know, y'all may have been through, Otter Creek and seen the, interactive signs that a lot of times that will help calming the speed when those flash. People try to make them not flash. And so we are putting speed limit signs up on those, and we're going to be putting up those types of signs. The signs are in. We are still waiting the post for those.
flashing signs?
Yeah.
Change what the speed limit is?
It shows the speed limit is 35, and then it shows what you're doing. The speed limit sign's a standard speed limit sign, but if you're coming up there 20, it sits there as 20. If you're coming up there anything over the speed limit, it flashes.
What's that gonna cost?
That's, costs about $3,500, and it saves lives.
3,500.
I think it's worth it if it's, I mean, that keeps our cops in town, our fire departments in town, instead of out there.
They,
If it's 3,500,
they have, that's the more modern way that they do traffic calming. They have shown that the, people will actually react and slow down to them. And you're always gonna have speakers, it's not gonna be 100%. But when you have the, speed humps and speed tables, it actually causes damage to cars. And people try to speed up to make up the time. And these will actually have a positive impact on the reduction of the speed. And if we are currently having people go off the road in those curves,
that's because it drive incorrectly. I can see putting up a curb sign or a speed limit sign down there before there, but I just have a problem with the speeding sign on a road like that myself.
well, where we've had cut through areas before, we've got 2 others that we tested before and after, and it did reduce the average speed through there.
3,500.
I think some people also go on autopilot when they're driving.
That's
You know,
their fault.
I know, but it's not the fault of the other individual that might get hit.
Well,
Yes.
then, that's,
You know what I mean? I see what you're saying.
I get aggravated when I get behind somebody in a 55-mile-an-hour zone doing 36 too.
Agreed,
Yes.
agreed. Not going 36 is gonna cost as much, you know. But I just think that, I just think some people go on autopilot and it's very well traveled.
I'm sure we've done some sort of, I mean, 3,500, I'm okay with it, but do we have we done any study to make sure we're not?
We did it in Otter Creek, and we did a study before we put them in. We did a study about a month after they were put in to see, after they had a little time to get used to them. And it did bring the average
So
down.
have you done the study to know what it is
There's been a
now?
study done out there on that road,
On Wager?
Yes.
Yes,
and what's it show?
it showed that there wasn't a problem.
There was not.
In the portion that, where we put it, because Wager, you gotta understand Wager, part of Wager Road on the south side of the road
It's pretty.
is either Benton County or Springdale.
Yep.
We got the north side. And so where we set it up, was in our city, right, what's the name of that road? I'm drawing a blank.
Intel.
No.
No,
not
I think
Intel,
that
it was
was
there.
east and west.
I think it's
Wood
Wood
Duck.
Duck. I think it's Wood Duck,
Yeah.
that's where we put it, into there.
Which is in a curve.
And it's shooting both ways, and one of them's after a curve. So if they're slowing down for the curve, they're coming out of it, we're picking them up. And then the other way, it's on a slight curve and a crest of a hill, where we're getting the eastbound traffic. And is there, it just depends on what your definition of a problem is. If it's 1 or 2 every so often, is that a problem? No, in my mind, it is not. Now, if everybody speed through there, or the 85th percentile is what we base everything off of, because that's what the state uses to regulate the speed limits, on state highways. So this gives us the 85th percentile, and it was like, and I'm just going off of memory, I wish I had it, I wish I knew you guys were talking about it, I'd have brought it. I wanna say it was like 3 or 4 miles an hour over the speed limit, was the 85th percentile. So don't quote me on that, I'm just trying to remember.
So let
Are
me
there
see.
accidents out there?
In my 8 years here, I've been out there twice for an accident.
There are not very many accidents there.
I don't believe so. Scott, do you deal with it? Any accidents out there on Wager?
Rarely, but every once in a while, rarely.
So how many of these $3,500 fines we buy?
We're not buying a lot of them. We bought 2 for, last year. I got 4 for this year, 2 for Ozark Acres and 2 for out there. Ozark Acres is used as a cut through, and
But I will say, when we did do, Otter Creek, We looked at it, as it was being developed, that second phase of Otter Creek. Obviously, more traffic was going through there, and then some people were cutting through there, to avoid traffic. And so we went through and looked at it, and we, put in some three-way stops where there was only a one-way stop.
Right.
And put crosswalks out there, and we did the same thing in Brentwood, as well. We went out there and made four-way, but anyway, Otter Creek, we put these stop signs up and then did the study again to see if that helped curb some of it, and it did. It curbed the amount of traffic we were seeing on on how many were cut through, because if you put up more stop signs, it doesn't help them speed up to avoid Rainbow and Shores. So that helped, but was there still a speeding problem on that long straight stretch? And there was, and when we did put the lighted signs up, and then went back and did a study, a while later, let people get used to it, we did see improvement. So it works. I'm not gonna say it doesn't, because it definitely evident in Otter Creek that it did work.
I mean, I'm not really debating $3,500 spending for that. What I just wanna have consistency in place. So do we do traffic study before we put this on or not? If we do, going down the hill from Church of Christ, rather than 112, have we done a study on that? Do we need to put one in there? Has anybody?
Where?
Church of Christ going down the hill on 112?
I don't think I have ever done one out there.
We can't put them on the state highway.
We actually can, and we have.
I'm talking about the signs.
Oh, the
that would
signs, yeah, we
require-
can't do the signs on state highway.
We can
But we
do
do
the
traffic
study, but
studies.
we can't put those signs.
Why not? But I'm saying that if you have a study, at least you got something in your hand, you can put a sign. I'm just saying, let's be consistent, if we're gonna put it, I'm more than willing
Well,
to pay
that's-
$3,500 for that.
and that's what we try to do. We, the mayor will come to me saying, hey, we're getting a lot of complaints. That's okay. We'll go out there, we'll monitor it, we'll look at it, we'll send the guys out there to physically see what's going on. Then we'll do a traffic study. Numbers don't lie. I mean, numbers are what they are. I love the traffic study. Like I said, numbers are numbers. You can't, they don't lie. So, and then we review that. We do the 85th percentile. It tells us something. The thing that we have a real problem with Wager, is 35. It's really hard to take some of those curves at 35 that are on that road. And we cannot change the speed limit because part of that is the county. And that whatever the county dictates, we have to match. We can't have 35 going this way and 20 going that way. They have to be the same. So we're at the mercy of the county. Now, if the county wants to lower the speed limit, that's on them. But we can't until they do.
I can appreciate you trying to save lives. I'm all for it. I'm not against it. I just wanna make sure I'm consistent. Really, that 112 going down, I mean, sometimes.
That's something we can talk about.
Yeah.
And we can absolutely look at it and we can do a study and we can see what's going on.
The other
Yeah,
location
well,
like that.
yeah, just talk to me about it. We can absolutely do it. I can tell you exactly what's going on out there. We've done it out there, out by, Middle Camps, out there on 264. We've done it dead center of town. We've done it, we put that thing up at several different places.
Yeah, that can go anywhere and we can
Yeah, we
study.
can put that thing up anywhere.
And there are times you can
It
petition
is
the
really hard
state
if you're
to
on the
get-
shores,
Yeah.
you want that, anywhere, I mean, it's going
Yeah.
on so fast.
We wanna try to stay away from an intersection because that'll skew the numbers. Because people slow down for intersections, if they're gonna turn left, if they're southbound, and they're gonna turn left on the Shores, they may come to a stop.
the shores, everyone, to the right,
Right, so we wanted a good distance away from an intersection. Just for that reason, we want a true and accurate number, and people slowing down to turn in and pull out, it's gonna throw the numbers off.
Do we have a large number of dump trucks coming down Bright Road?
A large number of dump trucks going down Bright Road? I don't know. I've never met one driving on Bright, but, I don't know how we can I don't know how to tell you yes or no, just other than what I've seen.
Like I tell you, they go so fast.
Yeah, you
I mean,
live
they go
there,
fast.
so you would know, I'm not there all the time, so I don't know.
Because I'm on the council, I haven't really pushed it, but really, you gotta have somebody sit there for a while, not just for 1 hour, just sit there for a while and watch out, or do the traffic study. I'm not pushing it, because I don't want anybody to, because I live in Price.
I mean, that's a,
So, how much is the total cost on signs out there with the curb signs now?
I'm gonna have to double check on the curb signs that was ordered through the, Public Works Department.
So have you already ordered these?
They have ordered.
Okay.
Okay.
Anything else?
Kind of a neat subject then, okay?
Next item is Ridgewood repairs. They did 26 of the 27, areas that were eroded. He missed one and is going back. And they said after the really hard rain the other night that they only saw erosion at about 2 spots, and he's gonna review those and see what he can do to make that better. It may be that it just needed a little more time to compact before it took on a hard rain. It may be that we need to look at something different there, but they're
I went
going
by there yesterday and there was one where they put the sod down, but it was that much of a gap between it and it was just a hole, so.
Yeah.
Hopefully they'll fix that.
That's one of the areas that they said was, that hole developed because of the erosion, and that's where he's going back to. The signposts have been done, and, they said that there's 4 or 5 signs that had fallen over in the past that they still have. And I told them if they will provide those and tell me where they go, we will get those put up as well. But as of right now, everything that was there that we could work on has been done as far as the signs. And, we will be letting the bids, I think tomorrow on the highway side. So we are, and I have updated them with where we are exactly, at the end of the repairs to the drain. And again, today, when I found out for sure where we were on the signs. So that is the update on that. Anything else?
Yes, I have 2 things.
Okay.
One is Bright Street. I had a gentleman that lives up the road from MC complain about the, dump trucks going down through there. And, he said that he feels that those dump trucks, and I agree, are helping put the bad spots in the road. And that we could use a sign or whole thing that says,
No
no
dump
truck,
Yeah. We can do something with signage that way that's.
And then Pintail over there, 2 weeks ago, you said that spot in front of, I forgot the guy's name.
Right.
As mailbox would be fixed, and it's still not fixed.
Right. And there has been absence, and there has been a holiday that I wasn't taking into account. And that is still, a work order is done for it, and it is a priority. I talked to him about it today,
Talk to,
to the street guy, Terrain.
we probably ought to call that homeowner now. And let him know.
That'd be
Talked
fair
to
to have
him
done
about
by,
it last week,
We did.
yes.
I mean, is that fair to have it done by, the end of this week, next week? The mailbox is pretty,
And do what?
would it be fair to have that, could that be completed by the next work session? Is that something,
Yeah,
It's already
it should be completed before the next.
or not work session, the next meeting?
It should be by the next meeting, but for sure by the next work session.
Okay, and then, I'm sorry, Mike, were you done?
Yes, unfortunately.
Okay, are we good at the fire station? Chief, you weren't here.
We got a meeting on July 11th. We sent out a letter to all the subs. Greg did. So we have a meeting on the 11th.
So it's still on,
No, nothing's been.
nothing's been easy.
but,
You were at 18, thank you for your service, as always.
Yeah.
But,
We have last on 18, they sent letters out to the subs and said we got a meeting on the 11th with all the subs, hopefully. If not, mayor's talked, I think he talked to Justin about legal action.
Okay, that'd be something. Alright. And then the events, you brought up the events that we were gonna talk to. The events, we had talked prior about, do we have to do a resolution or ordinance about community, like, events thing? Do anybody else remember that?
The committee.
Like different committees, do we, yeah, specifically Christmas and Cave, but I think we were talking also Cave Springs Days, stuff with the community center. Do you need a resolution? Do you need things, or can?
We don't have to have a resolution to
Or-
put together a committee. In fact, my understanding is they're currently putting together a committee for the, Christmas and Cave.
No, no, we're not. We're waiting until the council meeting to figure out what the council wants to do before we.
Well, I had well, for one thing, you asked if we had or if we could do a budget for that, and it was done in January. It's just not made it into the financials yet.
Didn't know that.
Huh?
I didn't know that.
Well, if it's not into the financials, then we don't.
It's
I didn't know.
it's in this year's budget, though, that was supposed to be used to fill out, or to populate the financials. There's $2,500 that's expected income and $10,000 for the, expected expenditures
Okay.
For the Christmas deal.
for the Christmas and Cave.
10,000 won't even come close this year, so.
Well, and if we need to amend it, we can amend it, but it's bring me a number and we.
We don't know a number. We haven't done nothing with Christmas and Cave due to the fact, I didn't understand if the council even wanted to go any farther. I wanted to make sure that we were gonna do an events committee first before I went out and done anything else. So that's
Can we put
That's
someone
why
out
it's
there
pretty.
for volunteers, or to contact Kim or Lisa, or to get the ball rolling to help them, because they did, 2 people doing all of that last year, along with, probably got some, Nelson's did the kids area, I mean, that's a lot.
So, I mean, just the tents alone last year was about $7,000 just in tents. So, that's not counting everything else that we had to purchase, so. And we're gonna go bigger this year, so it's gonna cost more than that. So the council needs to figure out what is gonna be a sufficient amount, for a budget for Christmas and Cave.
Is there a way you can come to us with a number?
It'll be a rough number, but sure.
If you could come to us with an, I mean, if you could,
I'll
I mean,
be
just a couple.
glad to sit down with you and help you where I
Yeah,
can on that.
because we gotta find a location as well this year, and again, we haven't done that either, because I've gotta figure out, you know, what the council wants to do.
Do we need to make bigger, like more vendors?
We're doing
Our
more
interest-
we're doing more vendors. Last year, we had 2 huge, craft tents full. This year, we wanna do 3. So, yes, we wanna go bigger. Because we would've filled another tent, a complete tent last year with craft vendors if we would've had the space. So, and it
Well,
was such a huge
I
deal.
I think everybody wants to do it, it's just, we have no idea what it's gonna cost, so we have to depend on you and.
Sure. Do we wanna put
You
Christmas
2
lights?
are the experts, but
Yeah,
Do we wanna go as far as to put Christmas lights back up on City Hall? Do we wanna put Christmas lights on the community building? Do we wanna put Christmas lights on the fire station? You know, how far do you wanna go with
I think
Christmas and
those,
Cave?
if you would budget some extras for those, but then, you know, with you or Lisa being the chair or whatever, head and co-chair, the committee helps decide to take, maybe we have to print it, I don't know.
I
You want a
agree.
committee, and then if we could put out a flyer on, gosh, I hate to say Facebook, cause that's out there,
Facebook and webpage.
Facebook and the webpage asking for volunteers and to contact by, I don't know, August 15th, so you can just hit the ball. Is that fair, or what's your feedback on that?
Right now, we're focusing more on the pancake breakfast for our first big event in Cave.
That's September,
That's in September 21st.
Yeah, it's
Saturday.
on the weekend of the Bikes Blues.
or maybe if you say, a committee, if you wanna be on the committee, contact this, committee's
We've
gonna
created
involve
an
on October
application
1st.
already, so.
What, I'm sorry?
We've created the application for
Oh, you're doing
for
application for-
volunteers.
oh, wonderful.
We've created that, we're just waiting for just kind of this meeting here to see where we kind of get our feelers out there and see where you guys wanna go with it before I send them out. So,
I think,
Right.
because this year we're really gonna go bigger for the pancake breakfast as well. The silent auction's gonna be bigger this year. We're hoping to do bounce houses this year for the kids.
What, on the silent auction, what kind of items are you looking for?
We usually do like gift baskets, vendors will do baskets
Just like the
or,
normal stuff that we. okay.
yep, normal
Yeah.
things you would do for a silent auction, yep. I think Gary's gonna do the,
Yeah, it's supposed to go in the budget, on the mid-year budget, but I'm ordering a smokehouse. It's a training area since we picked up the elementary school and stuff. It's gonna be for that. So we're gonna set it up, have kids go through the smokehouse. It's an educational thing. I think, a couple bounce houses also. And then of course the fire.
we're not all gonna be down at the fire station,
Yeah, we're gonna set it up in the back.
in about, oh,
But I'm getting ready to order that as soon as probably after the next council meeting.
I think, Ken, if you could come up with some recommendation of how much you need, or the, Jeremy would be great to work with, because Jeremy has some experience there, right?
yeah. And we're looking for donations as much as we can. I know that we've got some porta potties donated and so forth like that, but we had asked, someone had asked, well, what about someone donating tents? Yeah, that ain't happening. That's a huge expense. They're not donating that. So, we need to look at how many tents we wanna purchase this year. So, yeah.
Did we purchase those two
Or
last
rent,
year?
I'm sorry, rent.
Did we purchase those last year?
We rented them last year. I'm sorry,
Yeah,
rent.
she's
rented.
talking rent.
Rent, okay.
So, yeah, bigger and better this year, so.
come up with a good number, Ken. And look, you admitted it's gonna be 20?
I can put that in.
That's kind of what we're shooting for, is about 20.
And if you're saying it might be a little fluid, so then we're just
Yeah.
knowing that.
Yep, because I mean, it's probably the biggest, it is the biggest event that happens in Cave Springs, the one only event that happens in Cave Springs. So I think that's the least we can do for our residents is kick it off.
Perfect.
Anything else?
For the gift baskets, like when would you need those for, like a week before probably?
For the pancake breakfast?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, usually 2 or 3 weeks.
It's usually 2 weeks before, so that way we can get all of our silent
Oh,
auction
okay.
paperwork together. And it could be anything from the smallest item to the, I think last year we had a couple of, fishing guide tours, and we had some, places in Branson that were donated. I mean, it could be anything from a soap basket to a package to, vacation package to Branson, anything in between, so.
I can remember I went around and got some gift cards about 2 years ago.
Yep.
And you combined it and made a kiddo basket.
Yep.
Do you have something that we could put out there as a city?
For pancake breakfast.
I remember something for donations last.
Yeah, we're doing that as well, but again, I wanted to make sure, we got with Gary today, to make sure he was doing the smokehouse before I did the flyer, so that way all of the
Gotcha.
entertainment stuff for the kids will be listed on that flyer for them to do.
And I do have that in, I have made it that far through the budget, and that is in my amended budget that will be presented as well.
Mr. Mayor, I'm looking at so now that, the annexation is going to, for land swap, we were supposed to have 3 officers added. Are we gonna talk about that? Are we gonna?
They're in
find
that
it?
budget as well. That's all part of, and we're.
Yeah, that'll be brought up at the next meeting,
Okay,
because obviously you can't vote on anything tonight.
no, but I just wanna make sure we're on top of it.
Sure. Yeah, the mayor and I have been working on that,
Okay, good.
so.
Can you advertise for
Do you
them?
have any candidates?
I'm sorry?
Do you have any candidates that you?
Well, no, because I can't advertise something I don't have yet, that,
And that, this is our
You guys
first
gotta
meeting
vote on it.
to
I
be
don't
able
wanna
to
put it out and say, I'm sorry. So,
No.
but word of mouth, is there anybody out there? No, not yet. So, I've been talking to people, to see if there's anyone interested. It's tough. Everybody's shorthanded. Rogers is shorthanded, Centerton's shorthanded, I mean, just everybody, all the police departments are running shorthanded, and, it's just hard to get good quality applicants. And, so, we'll see how it goes.
We'll get
Once we
them.
advertise it. I'm sorry.
We'll get them, I know you will.
I will do what I can, I promise you.
Yeah.
Yes, glad that's.
And I've got, Daniel has something to say.
Yeah, I've got one more item. I talked to the mayor this afternoon and not get it on the agenda. The NACA sewer project that we're currently working on, the contract was designated to be up at the end of July originally for the contractor. Our engineering services agreement follows that same contract. They ran into some rock and took us some extra time, so their time has been extended through the end of the year. But their schedule shows that they should be finished in the October timeframe. So we're still on track with their schedule. So I was gonna ask if it were okay for us to bring forth an amendment, for you to, consider at the next meeting, maybe the water and sewer committee meeting first, and then the next meeting with additional time beyond our original contract.
We're gonna need it.
Yeah.
We're already stuck.
For sure, bring it,
Yeah.
yeah, we'll have to,
That's something I'm going back.
You're right, everyone, you used to say,
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's, yes, for sure, bring it.
Yeah, I want the people in Scissortown to be able to flush the toilets.
That project needs to be done.
Anything else? Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
So,